Today is May 16th, 2019. Jennifer Dickerson of the County of San Bernardino Museum is interviewing Mike Maldonado for our Pulp Culture exhibit that opens May 2019. Mike, can you please tell us your name, the name of the city you grew up, and who lived with you as you were growing up?
So my name is Mike Maldonado Jr. I grew up in the city of Riverside, California. Growing up, I had a pretty large family. I'm the oldest of four brothers. Mom, dad, and I kind of split between my house and my grandparents' house, where the actual citrus grove is.
What was the area that you grew up in like? Were there many orange groves? Were there a lot of people? Anything else that you want to note?
The area I grew up in was filled with orange groves when I was younger. I can remember, driving through a lot of the orange groves. A lot of the roads that are currently there now weren't there originally. There were some people, but it wasn't as populated as you would see now. There were like I said, there was a lot of orange trees, a lot of citrus. You always could see the tractors and stuff driving down the road. Yeah.
Did you or any of your family members work in the citrus industry?
Yeah, so my family's been heavily involved in the citrus industry since 1964. We have a family-run grove of mainly Washington navels. It was, like I said, it was planted in 1964. My great-grandfather and my grandfather planted the grove together. It was kind of a hobby for my grandfather. He was just recently coming back from the Korean War, and he started planting orange trees as kind of a hobby, and it kind of grew to his business from there. So I am actually the fourth generation of citrus farmers for our family that we've had. So like again, the grove is completely 100% family owned and operated. We're certified organic as well now. So that comes with its own, challenges and benefits as well. So yeah, we're a pretty tight-knit citrus family.
I'm going to interject another question. Your grandfather, did you guys move here then? Your family moved here in the 1960s then after the war, or were they here prior?
They were actually here prior. They lived more in the city of Riverside, and then they moved into unincorporated county and started the grove. He came back and he had some severe PTSD. He had a lot of war issues, and so I think, and this is me speculating, but I think he kind of wanted to live on the outskirts of town, where there wasn't a lot of people, and I think that the grove was a way for him to kind of get away from everything, kind of that escapism of he can put all the world's problems aside and focus on something that he could grow himself. So.
Can you explain where the grove is, its location?
Yeah, so it's in the Lake Matthews area of Woodcrest. It's currently right now there's 25 acres that are planted, and those are the original acres that were planted back in 1964. We recently acquired another 25 acres just adjacent to that property that we're looking on expanding as well.
What do you remember most about the citrus industry? Do you have any stories of growing up around citrus?
The one thing that sticks out in my mind about the citrus industry is the smell. You can smell, and I can identify that smell very, very easily. Another thing was winters, as you know, probably are pretty hard on the citrus industry. So winters in particular really stick in my mind. There's a lot of work that goes in during the winter time. We have 3 on-site wind machines that we have to turn on if the temperatures drop below 32 degrees in the wintertime. So a lot of sleepless nights. One story, we had a really big winter, and we were actually out, and this was probably 2-3 o'clock in the morning or so, and this was probably about 2004, 2005, somewhere in there. We had a really bad winter, and it actually started to snow. And obviously when you have the wind machines on, they can't run in the snow, so we had to go down and we had to shut them off. But I remember, going down, and you could see that it looked like there were just big flurries because the wind machine was just pushing the snow around, and there was accused flurries of snow everywhere. And then, the next morning waking up and there's icicles, a foot to 2 feet long hanging down from the trees. So something you don't see every day, especially nowadays. So yeah, that really, I have a lot of different stories, but those two really stick out in my mind.
How did the citrus industry impact your life and your upbringing?
The citrus industry taught me a lot of hard work. I can't take credit for everything that's done on the property because it's not all me. Like I said, we've had 4 generations of hands working on this. But it's taught me, the meaning of hard work, and, if everybody puts their heads together, no large accomplishment is that large. I also learned a lot about staying organized. As you can probably tell, managing an orange grove, going to school and having a full-time job can be a little bit difficult sometimes. But I learned to stay organized, especially in like the winter months where it's really busy for us. I learned a lot of fun family stuff.
When your grandparents first started the grove, was it just family that operated, or did they hire individuals?
It was just family mainly that operated the grove. We did hire, when it came to packing season, we do have we have had, and we do currently still have a contract with a packing house out of Oceanside, and they'll come in and they'll pick and they'll export the fruit. So one thing that's kind of unique about us is we're certified organic. We've been organic since 2007. So we're state regulated, and we're actually internationally organic as well. So most of our fruit ends up either in Canada or the Orient at some point, but we can ship international anywhere around the world. We have all of our certifications to do that. So,
how has the landscape changed since you were a child? Are there more people, less trees, less citrus?
The landscape has significantly changed. We're one of the last operating orange groves in our area. More houses, a lot more roads. Going to the grocery store growing up was really easy, or it was kind of lengthy. You had to take long way arounds. And nowadays, there's roads that were put right through what used to be orange groves, and they're not orange groves anymore. So you drive through there, and instead of seeing orange groves, you see houses. And my family's always had the saying that, we think that the general population thinks that, food is grown outside in the back of Stater Brothers. And that's not really true. A lot of people don't get to see the impacts of a grove and, what it takes to get oranges to a grocery store. So I'd say the landscape has significantly changed.
Is there anything else that you can think of or that you'd like to add about your family's grove, you?
Yeah, I'd just like to, extend a good, big thank you to you guys for shedding some light on the citrus industry, and in a time that it is dwindling. There's not many citrus farmers out there anymore, and I'm glad there's an interest in keeping this dream alive.